Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cosmic Compass. I'm really happy to have you here. And we are going to, after we do our breathing and do our um, tuning in, we are going to talk about some preparation work that we can be doing now with Neptune and Saturn as they dance together at the beginning of Aries. But before we get into that, let's do our breathing. So if you want to join me, I'm going to close my eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. You can just bring your awareness inward. And we're going to drop in and just again, allow yourself spaciousness of being in your body, connecting, depending on how you're sitting, readjust if necessary, and bringing your awareness inward. And maybe if it feels comfortable, you can put a hand on your heart and one on your belly. And we're just going to breathe and expand the belly as you breathe. And exhale. And this is really connecting you to your body, breathing in and expanding your belly. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe, expanding your belly, bringing your awareness all the way down to the soles of your feet. Exhaling, of course, when you're ready. And this time, as you breathe in, breathing in up through the soles of your feet, expanding your belly. And exhaling when you're ready. And then we're going to do this one more time all together, breathing in up through the soles of the feet, expanding the belly. And exhaling when you're ready. Okay, great. Thank you. And again, we're just going to ease into today. There's plenty for us to do. One of the things that we are going to do today is pull cards. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that first, just as a way to stay in the energy of our breathing and our connection. And these cards are for this week. So this first week of June 2025. Wow, what happened? It's here already. So we're going to ask for our guides and ancestors for support to bring in highest and best energies with the cards. And I'm going to use Chris Ann's Light Seers Tarot just because it's oh, and we did have that raffle last week. We'll have another raffle in a couple weeks. Never fear. We're going to do raffles. It's always a fun thing. Um, Here we go. First card. Oof, definitely the first card. Okay, we haven't had this in a really long time. So the Three of Pentacles. And again, as always, one of the things that is really, really important to do is just tune in. And what do you see? What do you feel? What's the story of this card? These cards in particular really lend themselves. She's brilliant. These cards lend themselves to being able to put yourself in a narrative in the card and really get to the essence of what the card is speaking to you. So, I mean, I love tarot decks and I mostly choose them for their beauty and or not necessarily the booklets that go with them, but this one actually gets really beautifully 5 stars, 5 stars on everything. All right, so Three of Pentacles, putting ourselves into that story. I love this. Feels really good. Pentacles are the material world, the earth element. Okay, great card. Okay, so that's where we're starting. So Three of Pentacles, I guess we're going to this card because it just fell out. Three of Pentacles, very often, you can probably tell from the card, talks about coming together to create something. right? So coming together to create something. There's obviously there's nuances in that, but you can really see that in the card. Okay, this is the next card that fell out. So we're gonna take this one. Page of Wands. Now, what is the story here? This is looking quite fun. Um, so again, what do you see? What do you feel? And sometimes, I mean, it's great to focus on different aspects. I mean, we actually haven't had this card in a really long time either. So sometimes when we pull the same card over and over, I focus on different aspects of the card. But this one, just what is the first thing you see and notice? Wands are creative fire element energy. I mean, you could probably see that from this. The page is partly learning and partly being able to do something at a high level. So a continuing evolution of gifts. So far we have this and this. So a coming together to create something and then potentially, let me see if I can make, yeah, and potentially the energy to create it. Okay. And then last card. Oh, this is interesting. This has been a really interesting read today. Very different. We haven't had this card in a while either. The Nine of Cups. So again, what do you notice in this card? If you were in this card, how would you feel? And cups are about emotions and the element of water. The element itself may or may not show up so well in the card, but I do think that when we think about emotions and the nine energy of coming into some form of completion of a cycle, there's a lot of energy in this card. And interestingly, it does appear to be a lot of movement in a particular direction. These. Let's see. There we go. So you can kind of just the story. And the other thing is with these cards, I'm not pulling them past, present, future, or anything like that. If you want to move them around for your own narrative, you can. If one comes before the other for you, put it there. Tell the story or hear the story. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Hear the story that's coming through for you. Because remember, we've asked our guides and ancestors to come in and give us some support. Okay. Beautiful cards. I love them. They're so good. All right. So I will send out more on those later. Now we're going to focus on some homework because that's why you all showed up. I'm so happy. Yeah, I know it does, doesn't it? It does. I mean, our traffic lights are a little different. Maybe yours have the yellow on top. We have yellow in the middle, but it is similar for sure. Oh, I see a lot of joy too. I love it. All right. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Hey, if it looks like a traffic light, then I say go with what does that mean? All right. Okay, so I've been busy this weekend doing a little of my own homework, and I really wanted to share it with all of you. Okay. So with Neptune and Saturn together, dancing in the sky, Saturn will go back into Pisces in the fall and then come back out to meet with Neptune at 0 degrees Aries in February. So right now we're getting a little preview. And one of the things about this time is that Neptune is all about the dreams and the visions and the imagination and the divine and cosmic love. And it can also, I'm not going to focus on its shadow side in this moment. So we're just going to focus on the, the lighter side for right now. But that, really big dreams, the visions that are wanting to come through. And then Saturn represents reality and form and structure. Neptune has a lot of fluidity, and Saturn has a lot of solid, like here we are. So it occurs to me that there were a couple energies I was working with this weekend, and one was, and I'm just going to be really upfront about this because this is what this time is for. So I'm thinking about this vision that's come to me, this dream of how I could proceed in the future, in the not too distant future, hopefully. And I felt the energy of that Neptunian, um, just as a powerful energy of magic, right? That deeply intuitive and kind of sparkly energy of Neptune. And then I felt this energy, a more shadow, I will say, energy of Saturn come in and say, that's never going to happen. That's not your reality. How are you ever going to make that happen? Um, and I am very certain that that came in for a good reason because it's important for me to be able to look at all the pieces, right? And it wasn't a happy voice, it was a voice. And I thought, okay, that is the shadow side here of Saturn. Now, there's a shadow side to Neptune as well. Like, we won't get there. We're not going to go there right now. But that powerful voice of, you're not going to do it. Okay, so that's the thing that wants to be worked with, right? That's where some healing wants to happen. So examining where the gremlin or the you can't do it voice or whatever comes in is really worthy work. And it's not really what I want to focus on all the time, but it is really important to look at that work. Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, which is it's been written a long time ago now, but I used to teach classes with it for many, many years. And she really encourages people to do their 20 minutes of journaling every day and to dream and to imagine and to open up to what the universe has to share. And one of the things that she also says is when you have a blurt, write that down too. Give it a voice. Give the blurt a voice. So for a long time, how I used to journal was I would journal on the right side of the, like if I have a journal, I would journal on this side. And then on the left side, I would write my blurts. And then I would know what they are. I'm like, okay, you can't do it. This isn't reality. Where's that? How's that going to happen? And then I would have something I could work with should I choose to do some healing work around that. So that is one way to do this. The other way to do this is you can write everything. And then when a blurt happens, you could use a different color pen and just kind of write it in the margins. The idea is to understand the shadow sides of Saturn, which actually are there to help us. Because I mean, it's hard, it's kind of a stretch to think about how is you're never going to do it going to help you. But the truth is that voice is in there from somewhere. And it would be very helpful to pull that out and pull it out by its roots, right? Where is that voice coming from? Is that my voice? Is that another voice? Is that an inner child voice? What is that? So let's pull it out, examine it, and see what's there. Sometimes with challenges represented by Saturn, there is something we need to learn. And so asking the question, okay, is there something I need to learn here? Is there, why? And really dialogue with that voice, whatever that voice is, dialogue with that voice. So you can spend, 5 or 10 minutes dialoguing. What are you trying to say to me? Because when we give it a voice, it actually dissipates. When we don't give it a voice, it grows. And so what we want to do is help it move. We want to give it that Neptunian fluidity. Ultimately, what Saturn wants is to help us create the dream. That is the bigger picture. Saturn is about form and structure. Saturn is about bringing it into form. So even if we look at our cards today, it's kind of interesting. We could say these two cards represent potentially ideas and like the big energy and the magic of bringing things in. And then this one is very much about form, creating something. So one of the things that and again, it's your discovery process. There's no one right or wrong way for this to happen. It's just that when I'm journaling about and talking to this voice that either is telling me I can't do it, or maybe it's telling me I can. Or maybe it just says you can do it if, or why don't you try this? The more you journal with that voice, the more you're going to learn. But ultimately, Saturn is here to help. So Saturn will say to you, well, maybe you thought you were going to do it on your own, but maybe there's two other people, or maybe there's another group, or maybe there's someone else who wants to be part of that dream or that vision. So again, you're going to find out what's in there. So if I take some of what I was doing this weekend, what there were a couple of things that I found very quickly, but they're tiny but big. So what I did first, in my journaling, I'm writing dreams, reality. And what I wrote first was dreams versus reality, setting them up already to be in opposition. It wasn't until I went back and looked at my notes that I realized I'm thinking that it's either or. Dreams or reality. So I crossed out the versus and I wrote and. And you can, this is how you do magic. You do the magic, take the red pen and create magic, or purple. I just happen to have red. But take the pen, do some magic. Dreams and reality. That's a shift. And it's interesting. I could probably spend, a couple of days rooting around to find out where that stems from, going in and digging. And I probably will, because I think it's fascinating. Like I didn't even see it. It's just an automatic dreams versus reality. Well, what about dreams and reality? So it would do me good to journal on both dream and just write it at the top. Dreams versus reality. Where does that come from? And that would, that's that voice. And then dreams and reality. That's so much more open. And I can feel that. I can actually feel with that, not only Neptune, and I can feel Saturn. I can also feel Jupiter going, yes, expand, open, dreams and reality. How can you have them both together? So again, this can be deeply personal, or it can be something to do with the work that you offer in the world. It might be, and this is kind of, taking a step back, you might be in a position where your life is changing so much right now that you really don't even have a vision. Maybe you don't even really know what you would want. That's okay too. You can just be in that I don't know space, which is actually also very Neptunian, and just allow yourself this phrase. If I did know, it would look like this. If I could imagine it, it would be this. And give yourself it being okay for you not to know exactly what the dream is. Now, there's a lot here. And again, we've got months of the summer to work with this. And I think it's worthy work. There's always other people we can work with. We can look at charts. We can, do some digging. There's always places you can go with this. One of the things that is also true is that Saturn reminds us that we are co-builders. Like we have it within us to create things. And this is also true in the cards. And I think it's worthy to ask ourselves, what do I need? What do I need? Because it's Aries. What do I need to help me create what's next? Is there anything missing that I know I need in order to move forward? And this isn't to set up an obstacle. It's not to set up another, oh, you can't do it because you don't have this. But, yeah, there probably are things you need. Now, I'm going to give you a super mundane example, but hopefully it illustrates things. There's a house that I always said I wanted to buy many, many years ago. And it hasn't ever been for sale. And of course, now it's for sale, right? So, okay. How much money is necessary to buy that house? A lot. So, what is the need? On the surface, the need is money, right? Now, that's great. And I can journal all I want about the fact that what is needed is this much money, blah, 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 blah. Not, and I have, and that's good. But what if there is something else? And here's where it gets really interesting. If I stay fixated, which could be a shadow side of Saturn, if I stay fixated on that one house with that one vision, I might miss something else. So the idea is to then go underneath and take the essence of what it is I'm envisioning and pull that out and put that into the universe. Because what if the needs for that are, yes, this or something better? Did you see my little note, this or something better? Um, yes, excellent. So I took the essence of it out and I'm putting that on the page, and then I'm going to work with the essence of it. It's interesting that this has presented itself to me just as, these planets are coming together. And it's also interesting to me that I can feel, I think it's my Taurus side, that I can feel myself digging in my heels and going, no, I want that. I want that. And that's okay. Work with that. That's fine. And I know from experience, it is better to let go and say this or something better, right? This or something better. Yeah. So this, and again, as I dig into it and as I continue to take the vision and open it up a bit and say, well, what does this vision feel like? It's just like I do with the cards. What does it feel like? What's the story here? How do I imagine myself moving with this energy of this vision? Then the universe can come in and say, all right, well, here's an alternative. What do you think? And I mean, it's just been this weekend, so no alternatives have yet presented themselves in this moment. But we have a while to go. That's the other thing. I'm kind of getting to this now, and I feel like the universe gave me this opportunity, and wait to hear the next part. Gave me this opportunity so that I could go through this process with all of you, right? So we could all do it together over the summer and into next year. So you're going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. This is hilarious. So I haven't been inside that house in a long time, but it does belong to someone I know well. And I always loved the house. And I said to her, when you sell this house, I want to buy it. So I set that up. And actually, I don't even think I said I want to buy it. I said I'm going to buy it. I'm pretty sure I said I'm going to buy it. And that was like, gosh, over 20 years ago that I said that. Okay. So, of course, this person does not know that any of this is going on, right? I get a text message. Do you want to come over for lunch before the house sells? So I can go be in that house one more time. Like, the universe has such a funny sense of humor. How funny is this? So, of course, I said yes, because I can even go deeper and get into the essence of what is it about that house that I liked so much so many years ago that I said, I'm going to buy your house when you sell it, right? So that's also it. I mean, this is a really mundane example, but it's solid. It's a solid example of how the universe works and how this is happening. So I'm really excited to go and sit in that house and be with my friend and um, really ask myself, on a meta level while I'm there, like, take it in. What is it about this house that you really, really like? Like, what is it? Is it the feel? Is it an actual look? Is it the size? Is it the layout? Is it just that it was your friend's house? Really dig into it and then open that up again. So, there are probably as many people as listening today as there are dreams and visions. So I would just encourage you to start this journey and we'll check back. We'll have little check-ins throughout the summer with how it's going, because I think that particularly as Jupiter, so adding in another element, as Jupiter enters Cancer a week from now, okay, things change in a huge way. And really, I'm not joking. The focus when Jupiter goes into Cancer is home, family, intuition, um, a certain kind of magic, emotions. So, mm, here we are. We start to weave it all together. And so there's a lot of feeling that wants to come in. So while Jupiter is still in Gemini, great time to start like the writing and the getting it down. You can continue that, but I think it's actually a really good time with where Jupiter is at 29 degrees Gemini. Honestly, magic. There's magic in this. And so let's engage in the magic, right? Let's just stay in that magic. So it occurs to me that there's a lot more to say about Neptune and Saturn, but that was what I wanted to say today. Like, how can we get to this? How can we move with this energy? How can we create with this energy? And then when it comes to shadow side, so I'll speak to that briefly with Neptune. The shadow side of Neptune is also a sort of, I'm lost, I can't do anything, it's too big. It's like a deer in headlights kind of, I can't move. I'm not able to dream. Um, there's also potentially like, this is hard for my Sagittarius moon because I just don't know that you can dream too big, because there's ways that the universe can create options for things to happen that are different, but still meeting some of the genuine essence of dreams that we create. So I don't know that it's about dreaming too big, but maybe staying in the dream too much and not bringing in some of the forms that will help it come into reality. So um, I guess we would call that fantasizing without bringing it into reality. That would be maybe a shadow side of Neptune. But right now, with everything that's happening in the sky woven together, it is a beautiful time to just listen. What is this bigger vision that wants to come through? And for many of us, so weaving in one more piece, Pluto in Aquarius is asking us how that vision can be utilized for others. Okay. So that this is all woven into my mundane personal example, which is, of course, the house. When I thought about this 20 years ago, oh, I'm going to buy your house, I wasn't thinking what I'm thinking now. But of course, I'm like, oh, it'd be so easy to have retreats in that house. It would be so easy to have clients come for a one-on-one immersion, like the whole vision was right there. And so that's the Pluto in Aquarius, which is how am I including this to make it even better for others? And that can be your family, it can be your community, it can be beyond that, it can be global, whatever it is. So, yeah, you can see that everything comes together to remind us that we have agency, even when and I know that there are some of us that are truly struggling and suffering. And I'm not saying that's not happening. And at the same time, within that, what can I do? What is available to me, even in that moment? Um, so big dreams and reality. Big dreams and reality. Big blessings coming from Jupiter right now at 29 degrees Gemini to maybe write things down, do a little research, what is necessary, what is needed. And then as Jupiter goes into Cancer, we're going to feel the emotion, which can be very powerful and super helpful with the magic. And of course, oh, and I don't mean to leave Uranus and Taurus out. Uranus is the unexpected, like, oh, I never even knew that could happen. So weaving that in, that's one of those fun things. And actually, really important. And Uranus is going to go into Gemini soon for a brief moment and then come back out and then go back in next year. So it does actually help us to communicate well with the universe and be mindful with our words, like dreams versus reality or dreams and reality. So even in what I've already journaled this weekend, I was talking to someone uh, and we were talking about because it has to do with a house and housing. Ooh, I like that. Adding in dreams become reality. Ooh, adding it in now with the red pen. Um, you know, what does how do we so abundance and affordable. So abundance and affordable. So I don't know. Play with your words is basically what I'm saying. And Jupiter in Gemini helps that right now. And then ultimately Uranus in Gemini for a long time will help us awaken to new words like dreams become reality. Ta-da! Okay, underlining. Thank you so much for that. So that's why we gather here. And I'm going to turn off the recording for now, just because this part will go on YouTube. And just as a reminder to everyone, we are going to have guests again. Don't worry. I'm just taking a little bit of a pause so that we can adjust to the changes in the planets. And we're going to have a really awesome guest in a couple of weeks with an awesome raffle. Just saying, big raffle. So stay tuned.